G'day guys, time for another one of Maxi's blogs, first one in Bangladesh. I'm very, very lucky to have none other than Ashton Agar, the wonder kid, the man who on debut scored 98 and wowed the world from number 11. A little bit better of a batsman these days, and obviously a bit more regarded as a batsman as well, more of an all-rounder. But take us back to that time of your debut in 2013. It was a pretty special time.
Thanks for having me, first of all, Glenn. Absolute pleasure to be on the blog. I've always wanted to be on one of these.
Really?
Take it back, yeah, 4 years ago, I guess. Everyone asks if that time's gone quickly. It feels like 4 years, really.
Yep.
You know,
funny that.
What's it like? You know, it's 4 years.
Yeah.
And life's been good in between, but it was obviously a great time of my life.
Yeah.
Making a debut in an Ashes test, and for things to go the way they did, I wouldn't have it any other way, really.
Yeah.
Especially that first test.
You had your first probably little taste of it during that India series, where before the tournament there was obviously some talk about you joining the squad late.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that time, where it was obviously a little bit of an interesting time where you'd sort of come over,
Yeah.
I think for the practice games, or you were over there for...
Yeah, practice games and a bit of training as well.
Yeah.
After my second Shield game at the Gabba, I got a phone call. Oh, it was actually during my second Shield game.
Yeah.
And it's saying, oh mate, after the Shield game, you're flying to India. And I was like, what? Like, I didn't even know what that meant.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, right, you're joining the test team in Chennai.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And I was under the impression that I was pretty much just going to be a net bowler, bowling the nets and get a bit of experience, which it turned out to be. But while I was there, it was kind of get yourself ready to potentially play in the first test. And I played the warm-up games and bowled in the nets. It was a wonderful experience. Not so wonderful when Gautam Gambhir and Rohit Sharma both peeled off 150s.
On the smallest ground ever and on a flat wicket.
On a flat wicket. The big fire behind the side screen before the first ball.
The school went up in flames, didn't it?
Oh,
I'm pretty sure it was the school that went up in flames. It was a bizarre day.
It was a bizarre day, a weird time, but it was really good, obviously, to be around the group and get introduced to everyone. And yeah, it was an interesting series to watch from home after that.
And now, obviously, in Bangladesh, how's your preparation been? We obviously started in Darwin for 10 or so days, and how's it been, obviously, getting yourself ready to get back into Test cricket again?
It's been really good. Darwin was great camp for all the boys. Finished off with an unbelievable fishing trip, which everyone had a really good time. Good practice game, and then coming over here, you know, the hotel's beautiful, nice food, that's all you can ask for really, and good training facilities. So I've got plenty out of this week, and it's been a big lead into this first test, and feeling pretty good.
You had we both had a fair bit of time during the Indian series to do a fair bit of training together. One guy who's probably been pretty influential for both of us is Sri.
Yeah.
How's it been working with him? Obviously, his experience with the subcontinent conditions and ball angles and seam angles. How has that been with him, and how much has he helped you over the last year or so in your development as a bowler?
Shri's a genius. Like, I literally think he's a genius. He's a funny guy and makes training really fun, number one.
Yeah.
And his knowledge of bowling, the conditions, all the different things you can do. He's a forward thinker, and he's ahead of the game, really. The little things that we don't think of that he all of a sudden thinks of, and you think, oh wow, that makes total sense, but you'd never think of it. So that's his beauty.
This is the last question. You had an interesting experience yesterday where an umpire came into our team room and started joining in a table tennis. Can you talk us through how that happened?
Yep.
And how bad he actually really was?
I can talk to you about how bad he really was. I was playing table tennis with Usman, Swepson and Hilton Cartwright.
Yep.
And at the corner of my eye, I see this bloke walk in the room, and Uzi shake his hand and look over, and it's Aleem Dar. Jesus, come to umpire a table tennis game, that's serious prep.
He's getting his practice in for the first
test.
test.
Like, wow.
Out.
Dedication. Next minute, he rolls up to the other end of the court, and I'm versing Aleem Dar. What a story.
You would have belted him too.
Yeah, you know, he's only has a forehand, and it's not pretty. It's not pretty, and it's not that effective.
There's two things that he's probably missing right there.
But he had a good crack, and it was a bit of fun.
Well, Ash, thank you very much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure, and hopefully everyone gets a better understanding of the Wonder Kid. 4 years on, mature, a little less hair. Head looks good though. You're a good
Less
shaped
hair.
head. You're a
Glad
good
I got
shaped
rid
head.
of it.
It's Jason Statham, I heard someone say in the change rooms today.
Bit more of a tan.
A bit more of a tan, but
Bit
yeah.
bigger ears.
I wasn't going to mention it.
That's all right.
Mate,
It is what it is.
Yeah, thanks very much for joining me, mate.
Thanks, Clint.
Go well
Appreciate
if you
it,
do
mate.
play. Guys, thanks for joining me. Make sure you tune into all the action, because this is going to be a humdinger, this test, and hopefully the rain stays away and we're going to have a great time in Bangladesh. But cheers.